A woman living in Lyon, France, was facing the tribulations of growing older. She had no husband or friends, so she was very lonely. Her apartment complex ruled against dogs and cats, so she had to think outside of the box in order to have a little bit of company. She found the perfect pet for her, a parrot. Keep listening to hear the story of the lady and her parrot, and don't forget to subscribe for more animal stories. The rules of the woman's apartment complex said that cats and dogs were not allowed. That is definitely two of the most popular choices for pets that were ruled out. Dogs and cats can be high maintenance, so this may not have been the best choice for her anyway. But just because you want to adopt a pet doesn't mean it has to be a regular pet. There are tons of different types of animals that need owners. It is important to do your research before purchasing a pet, so you know what you're getting into. The lady spoke to her landlord, and he agreed that a parrot would be one of the least annoying options. Filled with excitement, she began to do her research. You can't usually just go at any pet store to get a parrot. You have to find them online since they are exotic. Eventually, after much research, she found the perfect companion for her, a special African gray parrot who was not too high maintenance and didn't require a large amount of space. She was very scared and unsure that she could take care of such a special bird. She went back to visit him multiple times until one day she just had to take him home. So she purchased the bird and invited him into her home where they would spend their years together. His name is Sinbad, and he loved his owner just as much as she loved him. Whenever she would come home, he would get excited to see her and jump around. She realized they were meant to be, and she was so happy to have such a delightful animal to take care of. They would sit on the balcony together and watch the sunset, and she would drink her morning coffee with him. They spent tons of time together, and they loved every minute of it. She also made friends through the parrot owner community and realized that parrots are extremely special and intelligent animals. She saw how he made such a great pet for her as she was feeling less lonely than ever. He made so much noise that it was like having a person with her. Too bad for that landlord. Nevertheless, they soon became best friends and lived together for 25 whole years. She was amazed by how long he was living, but was concerned about rehoming him when she passed away. Luckily, she had a big family to support her. Her children would often come to visit, and they loved the bird too. Everyone seemed to be enjoying Sinbad. When her children would come to visit, they loved him and he loved the attention. He would show off his tricks for them. He could sing, whistle tunes, and even knew his own name. Parrots are known to be talkative, but can they really understand you? Some people say that parrots can only repeat back what their owner says, but the lady swore that Sinbad was different. She really felt like he was talking to her. They would always say good morning and good night to each other, and she would tell him her problems, and it seemed like he understood, even if his answers didn't always match up that well. It's not certain that these birds can actually understand what you're saying, but she believed he was listening. As their bond grew, so did their attachment. They became very close, and as time went by, she realized this was the perfect pet for her. As time grew on, her health started to slowly decline, and she knew she didn't have much longer. She started having to visit hospitals frequently and even had to see specialists. She was having to leave Sinbad alone for long periods of time, unfortunately. She would try to book her appointments near the middle of the day so she could still say good morning and good night to Sinbad. She wanted to make it home so that he wouldn't be confused and upset, but the long periods of time were taking a toll on her and Sinbad's relationship. They could no longer be as close as they were before because she was always away. Eventually, the lady was admitted to the hospital. She didn't have much time left and was told to say her last goodbyes. She immediately thought of Sinbad and how much he would miss her. Her daughter came to visit, and she took Sinbad with her to say goodbye. Sinbad was taken to the hospital, and he stayed very close to his owner, standing on top of her. He was usually very chatty, but he was silent at this moment. Perhaps he could sense the atmosphere, and it was clear that he knew. With the camera on her, the dying woman was asked to say some last words to Sinbad, and she said, "I love you," to her parrot one final time. The parrot reacted to that by becoming energetic and more lively. The parrot truly loved his owner back. The way he would interact with her proves how much of a special connection that grew between them. They were truly best friends. This is sad, yet science shows that parrots can feel depressed after losing a loved one. This day was filled with tears and sad memories for everyone involved, even Sinbad. He was now without his beloved owner, but that does not mean that he is alone now. He had a family to back him up in this hard time. Luckily, Sinbad was adopted by his owner's daughter. She promises to take good care of Sinbad for the rest of his long life. Will Sinbad be sad to be without his owner? Definitely, but he will be well loved and taken care of. Sinbad represents the memories of his owner, so he will be loved by his new friend. He will remind her of her mom forever. However, Sinbad may experience some depression from losing his life partner. Hopefully, Sinbad can live happily with his owner's daughter, despite the sadness of losing his original owner. Sinbad is apparently such a delight to be around that it's sure he will be cherished. It is so touching to hear this story and know that animals and humans can form very special bonds. This lady and her parrot had formed a very unique connection that many people experience. Animals and humans may be different in many ways, but they are both able to form the strong connection we call friendship. Do you have a pet that you have a bond with? Leave a comment below to let us know. From dogs to hamsters, pets can present us with a feeling of wholeness. It is certainly an experience to take care of a pet, but what kind of experience depends on which animal you choose. For instance, a small pet like a rat is pretty low maintenance, but a fish is even easier to take care of. It really depends on the difficulty levels you are available to take on. Just remember to never vow to take care of a pet if you think it will be too much for you. If you are looking to start small, there are hundreds of species that might work for you. Do your research. There are many websites that can help you get started. All it will take is a Google search. You never want to adopt an animal if you are unprepared, especially an exotic pet like a parrot. They have a specific way they need to be taken care of. The best way to start with your adoption process is by looking things up and even writing notes. Make sure you have a care routine in place and that you know all of the supplies you'll need. It may take a little preparation, but in the end, it's totally worth it. Keeping a pet is a rewarding experience and it makes people happy. That is what we learned from today's story. It can be beneficial to take care of a pet, especially if you need to be a little less lonely in your life. Animals are perfect to take the blues away, especially if you can find a great pet like Sinbad to take care of. What did you think of this touching story? Leave a comment to let us know. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with your animal-loving friends. See you next time.